What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Marketing with N-Dub, where I'm your host, Nathan Webster, and I'm excited to chop it up with you today. Today for episode 149, let's just call it Marketing Tangibility here. So before I go there, let me say thank you to my first-time listeners. Thank you to all my worldwide listeners for tuning into today, listening to the podcast, sharing it, subscribing it, liking it, and leaving a brother review. Wink, wink. Make sure you do that, please, and thank you. So, marketing tangibility for episode 149, and this is something I was like, man, I have this topic, I have that topic, I have this title, I have that subject line, but I just want to say marketing tangibility is something that every single company needs to achieve. Marketing tangibility is something that you need to be able to touch and feel that it will be successful. I just made it up, okay? Okay. All right. Listen up, because I want you to understand when I'm saying marketing tangibility, there is something that has to be done. Let's say you are the business owner, you are the salesperson, that you have to come in and ensure that the person on the other side of the table or the desk or the coffee shop, whatever the case may be, if you're promoting something, they need to be able to understand that they can see it, they can touch it, they can feel it, and they can experience it so that when they walk away, you're good to go. All right, so hear me out. So initially I was going to talk about like video game apps, or when you go through and scroll through the social media, or if you're walking into a store, right? All those things, even if it's service oriented, even though it's service oriented, some way, somehow it ends up in your hands. Some way, somehow you are experiencing it. Some way, somehow you either want it or you don't want it, or you're like, hey, I need to wait on this. Marketing tangibility is something I'm making up because I think before COVID, folks didn't feel that their elevator pitch, their business slide, their swag items didn't need to mean that much if they had a brick and mortar. It's my experience. I'm not saying everyone out there is like that. I'm just saying from my experience. Here's where I have seen some businesses struggle of where, as I always say, bricks to clicks, you have to start to monitor and engage on your digital platforms just as much as you are doing face-to-face with foot traffic, right? Especially if they come into your shop or your store, your coffee shop, or your place of business. You want to be able to make sure they leave with something in their hands. So let's take me, for example. I am like the hardest service, not the hardest, but one of the hardest services that I offer. One of the best things I can give anyone that's looking for more information, if they take it or they don't want to take it, I can give them one of my little kits of how to start thinking about how to create your avatar. Another thing I can give them is this very thing called a podcast. Or I send them to my YouTube. I put it in their hands. I give them the link. I have them click on it. It could be as simple as a website, especially that my prices are on there, especially when it comes to the retainer option. I say, hey, look, this is the process I go through. We can talk about it. I can write a proposal. Some folks says, yeah, let me see a full proposal. Some people said, no, let's start. How do we start? I'm like, this is what we do. I send an invoice, and this is how you go about it. It's a service thing. When it's SEO, it's the same thing. Let me pull up my tools. Let me start using it for you. And maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't tell you. No, I'm not going to tell you what tools I use. Yeah, sure, I will. It's called SEMrush. You can get you a 7-day trial. I go on there and I tell all my clients or prospective clients, I'm like, this is what I will do for you. There's a lot of tools on here that you can use in this one single tool, but you can get some of these tools for free. Right. And then they're like, oh, my God, what can I do? I was like, yeah, sure. I'm just going to let you know you're not going to be able to read them or use them like I can. But here is an opportunity for you to, if you want to do it on your own, which is really important for me to distinguish part of my weeding out phase called the whether or not they are a good lead to a good client. Right. Is to see if they plan to still do some of this stuff on their own, because they can't. Their value proposition is that they can only do so much at a time. So when I say marketing tangibility, are you giving the opportunity for your call to be hopefully new customer, new clients, you know what I'm saying? To where they will then be in the driver's seat and where you can just say, okay, tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. All right, so how would you like to move forward? Don't keep this all in your control or in your power. Allow them to make the decision, because this is where, like I said, the proposal piece or the courting, however you want to call it, this is where some people say, oh, I don't like sales. Well, maybe because you're trying to be salesy instead of realizing a lot of this is done on the upfront. It's done in the beginning. I said this a couple of episodes ago. From Marketo, they put out 70% of people's research is done before they even talk to one single person. People don't want to have to talk to a person if they don't have to, especially if it's going to expose somebody's weakness and expose someone's vulnerabilities that they can't move forward without assistance. We all been there, and guess what? We're all going there. If you are trying to scale your business, you can't do this on your own. So that marketing tangibility piece is really key for allow people to then take charge now. And if they want to use it, awesome. And as some SaaS, software as a service, what any sort of application or software that you download on your phone or your computer or your tablet, on your iPhone, whatever electronic device you use, you might more than likely have a trial, right? The trial is for you to use it to determine whether or not it's going to work. Now, product-wise, we already know, like especially if it's clothes, you can go on and try it on. Shoes, try it on. If it's a tool, you can try it. But then you also have this, 30-day return policy, 14 days or 10 days, just depending on what it is. In some places, they're like, hey, they're like food. There is no return policy unless something's going wrong. Or, hey, sales are final. These are all things that it's good to set up the expectation, because some folks say, what does your contract look like? I'm like, it's pretty standard. It's basic. But I'm not going into a contract with someone, which I have all my clients do. I'm not going to go in a contract with someone I don't want to do business with. This is where it's important for everyone to ensure your marketing up front. That tangibility piece is you finding the people that you want to work with. It's a joy to work with. That is not. So when I say the marketing tangibility piece, the easiest one, y'all, for real, is food. The easiest one is food for the marketing tangibility. It's the easiest one. Why are you going to do is say, try this. Try it. Just try it. Just try it. Just here. Try it. Try it. Here, try it. I was playing with it on the video. Y'all are going to see. I'm going to say, try it. It's all up in, you're in the mall and, people are like, here, try it. It's all up in your face. And like, okay, fine. Might as well shove it down my throat. And you're like, oh, it's lucky now. Let me go ahead and let me try this. So this is where, as you can tell, I'm just trying to have fun here about providing that marketing tangibility. As I said, from day one, episode one, because there's a whole nother podcast if you continue to listen, Mr. Social Entrepreneur Podcast. But in episode one, I defined the marketing definition, the American Marketing Association's definition of what it is. And what it is, in my own words, is it's an untamed beast that never sleeps. Because this content, we always are looking for something to consume. And content-wise, when it comes to books, music, movies, good guy, anything else, and that's just electronic. The books are not, but sometimes they are, right? Maybe it's something in person, like you going to a show or a concert, or maybe it's just hanging out. Someone is consuming something. And if no one's consuming what you're selling, that's a problem. And that comes back to me, and my experience is it's not tangible for someone. So when you even look at a phone, think of how much money that people, or these Apple, Microsoft, Google, Motorola, look at how much they spend. And it could be not Apple, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, how much they spend on you, making sure you get you the latest phone potentially on them. So that marketing tangibility, even though they're not even selling their own made products, they want you to make sure you come in and you experience it. Experiencing it is so key. And that could be the deal that goes yes, or a deal that goes wah, wah, wah. Provide that marketing tangibility, especially if you have the opportunity to pitch. That can be possibly my next episode. What is that marketing pitch? How long should it take? That elevator pitch has changed since COVID, so don't think it hasn't. So, y'all, I'm going to call that a wrap. I want to say thank you again to my worldwide listeners, my first-time listeners. And if you haven't done so already, I ask you, please go to the show, to the platform that you're listening on. Go ahead and leave a review. Please rate the show also. And if you could please share it with others. And if you don't know, y'all, I'm putting on here when it comes to the video. For those that are not watching, you can watch on YouTube. Some of these YouTube shorts are on YouTube. Well, some of the snippets of the videos, they're called YouTube shorts, or they're on. Oh, I just botched that up. Anyways, go check out on YouTube. All I'm trying to say on that episode or that piece for YouTube is please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would have been easier to say than everything else. So if you haven't already subscribed to YouTube, please subscribe to YouTube. And for those that are looking for a awesome event, business event, it is going to be happening in October. It's called Let's Connect Conference. That is the sponsor of the show. And if you want to also check out and more on that to come. More on that to come. There's a lot more. Man, I'm geeked about it because I'm planning. We're getting close. Also, if you want to learn more about the marketing agency side, ndubbrand.com, you can go to it, and everything's in the show notes. Because look, if I'm not going to help you, go find someone else. You don't need me if you have somebody else. I'm totally okay with giving the work to somebody else, just as long as you go get the help that you need to be successful. So with that, I'm calling it a wrap. Good God, I can't talk anymore. So I wish you nothing but the best. So dream big and Godspeed.